Is this your first time?
Okay.
Was this your first time?
What do you like to edit?
Oh, that is
Yes,
so
I do
cool.
like to edit. I like making
Oh,
movies.
cool.
Maybe you can help me edit this one together.
Sounds good.
Okay, Daniel?
Yep.
This is my neighbor Daniel and Daniel Burkett. He was operating second camera.
Yep. Getting the movie with my digital camcorder.
Thank you so much. And Kano, quit picking your nose. Kane is really a dancer,
Yeah,
a singer dancer.
yeah. I try my hardest. You know.
Okay.
Plan on going on So You Think You Can Dance a couple of years.
Oh, get one of Kane and me, okay? All right.
Just hold it.
Yeah, it's running.
Yeah.
The red, okay. This is Kane and me,
My Aunt Kay,
my nephew, my little nephew.
she supports me in everything I do.
I do.
All my thespian activities.
Okay, and I should actually get one of. This is my
This is a
husband.
crucial point for her.
Oh,
Don't, just let me work with it, trust me.
You have to
turn a little,
Sandy.
And she got her skis back on her, Sandy,
That's it, that's all we get.
and
Maybe go,
Get a little smile.
he got her down skiing.
Daniel, go over there.
oh, okay, well, that's important, that was good.
It was something to watch, it was really something
So John and Martha were on this trip?
Yeah, and
Did they both ski or?
to watch. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
good,
we had a
good.
great time together. Okay, you want us to comment as we're going along?
Yeah, now, do you know who which one of those?
Yeah, can you back that up?
Yeah.
Can you back that up?
Ellen, now, JK now. Yep. You can back it up real fast.
Pat must be the very blonde one, huh? Barb, Marty, and Pat.
Now, stop it right there.
Okay,
Okay, right there.
okay.
The second one, I'm sure, is John.
John, right.
Uh-huh.
Who's the first one, Don? No, it's too big for
I
Don.
just can't tell. Then I'm not sure who the next one is. It's Marty and Barb,
Could it be Alice?
and I think I just don't know. But Barb is the second to last. Barb Manton, Malone, Garwood.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Is
And
that Pat behind
Martha-
her?
Martha Manton Gall, and it probably is Pat Anderson, our Uncle Dave's daughter.
Who was Pat Anderson Crosby,
Yeah.
married to Warnie Crosby. And what was that bridge, Dick? and
Okay,
where
now
was
that's
it?
another thing. That bridge was located right in front of where your house was, Kay. Right across the creek there. And looking at the level of the creek, I'm nearly positive it was before the dam was built. So the creek was very shallow there. And the first attempt at a dam was just to the right or downstream from that. It was a wood dam. And it washed out. I remember it washing out when I was maybe 4 or 5. So that would have been about 1934. I'd say this picture was taken about that time.
Do you think John was 13 in that picture?
No,
Well, that was 1934, because I was born in 34, and he was 13 years older than I, so it's earlier than 34, probably.
I think there were 2. Could be 1. Big cottonwood log that fell down across the creek.
And I don't remember it at all. It wasn't there when I was born.
No. A lot of projects like that. Okay, this is John right in the creek, right in front of the house.
That must be
That's
Barb. That's a
and
good
Martha
picture.
right behind her, and Pat, and I think one of the Howard boys, I think.
Eddie?
Probably Eddie Howard.
And Eddie was the son of Aunt Mary and Uncle Ed Howard. He was killed in the war. He was the first of our relatives to go into the war, I think, and killed almost immediately. You know, a very handsome guy. His dad wanted him to go into the Merchant Marines because he thought that was the safest. And a ship went over to the Bay of Naples, wasn't it, in Italy?
Barry, he was in the harbor at Barry, Italy, and
They were bombed. The ship was bombed, and he was killed.
the Stuka dive bombers came in and cleaned him out.
And you can watch it right there.
That's
There's
John.
John.
That's Tom. See, this was, yeah, you're right, this was 434 because John was 7 years older than I, so I was
There he is.
Right
There's
more.
John and Tom and Bob.
Yep, John.
Bob on the left,
John
Tom
in
on the
the
right. They were real he-men, weren't they? Chubs.
Where were you swimming? I know it was the creek.
Right in the creek, right at the original bend at where the diving boards were. So it'd have been right about where our sleeping porch was,
Mm-hmm.
right below that. Pretty much the length of the house there. That whole stretch down along there. Because
And
it
I
was
don't-
before the dam was in.
I don't remember that either because we had the pool by the time I was born.
How clean is the creek?
That's why we quit doing it. That's why the pool got built in 35. Pool got built in 35 because Dad had the water tested and found there was E. coli all over the place.
Bunch of hams.
Yeah.
There's
That's
Dad
Dad.
and
Okay.
It's a cute picture of Don.
Don. Yeah.
That was Dad before he was Snow White. I never knew Dad with anything but white hair like mine, but it wasn't white yet.
That's
totally.
Frances. The gal to John's left was the daughter of a woman that worked for Mom and lived upstairs. Frances.
She's in a lot of our still pictures. There's Dick
That's yours truly.
and Mom. Can you see Francie and Mom? I think she looks a lot like Mom.
Oh, I'll say. Yeah.
And that's also Dick. Oh, there they all are. They're in.
Down to Don.
That's,
Don.
that's Grandma's house over on the other side,
Oh, wait, Carol.
isn't it? Yeah,
That's
he's-
you, isn't it?
No, that's Don. And that's in the background is Grandma
Yeah,
and
that's
Grandpa's
Don.
house. Your house, Kay.
What?
John was. John, always busy. Oh dear. Poor Don.
Isn't that rare? There's some interesting ones here.
There's Bob in front, Tom to the right, John behind. Who's way back, Dick?
I think it's Jason Schwartzball that we hopefully will get another shot of him. They were good friends, spent a lot of time together. And I'll
That's
stay
Tom.
with Jason Schwartzball. That's Tom. Great picture. Wow. That's Bob. He
What's
kinda-
up above?
Let's see where that would have been.
Who's that?
That's John.
That's John.
It has to be John. Whenever you see
We
someone jumping around, it's John.
There he is knocking people down. We had sheep down there at the time, and I think that was probably a shelter for sheep.
Oh, Bob's crying.
Got knocked down. That's
That's
Dad.
Dad.
That's Dad.
That's Uncle Dave.
That's Uncle Dave. That's Dad's older brother Dave. Dave Anderson the second. And Alice, Dad's sister Alice.
Sue Finkbeiner Stone's mother, and Don Finkbeiner.
So cute.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bob again.
Not real steady on his feet.
This is Uncle Dave with Don. This John.
Don.
Showing off, riding on two wheels.
Look at the farm. How few trees. How bare it looks.
Yep, this is right out in front of the house.
In front of the laundry room.
Yep.
Oh,
Uh-oh, now this is really rare. This is rare. He has got the loser's limp there.
look at those skinny little legs. That's Uncle Dave's house, and that's where our house is now.
That's Don and Bob. Don on the tricycle, Bob with a policeman's suit pulling him off, and
Tom
Tom
to the
looking on.
Now, that picture of the house, Ellen, back up just for a second.
That's
So where you can see
what
the
we used to call the
driveway.
Durst house. Okay, you remember that as the Durst house.
That was Uncle Dave's house.
That's where Uncle Dave. Uncle
He-
Dave and Aunt Jane built that.
So the driveway is coming from Grandma's house?
No, that's
That's in front of the laundry room,
That's
in
right
front
in
of the
front of the
middle
laundry room.
building.
yeah.
No,
It
they
came right up
came
the
right
middle.
straight.
Came right,
Yeah.
we didn't have it. It was much later. We put the circle in up there.
And that house was raised to build our house.
But that driveway is still underneath the original drive. After you get out there a ways to about where the circle starts. We tore all that out, that stretch between the big square part right there where we used to have the basketball court, right outside the squash court there in the laundry room. And then John built that little storage building there, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And Tom designed the drive to go around when he built his house. Then put a circle there. And that tree down there that you see way down,
Uh-huh.
that's right behind my garages. That was it. When I paved it, that killed that hickory tree.
Don is climbing on the tricycle, and Bob's holding him, and Tom's to the right.
He starts crying now.
What's that building in the back?
That's the shed. It's
Shed.
still there.
That's
the
where the
garages for
garages
the
are.
apartments. And that building there on the right is the original farmhouse.
Sam and Charlie Ehrman lived in that at one time.
Yeah.
That's Bob.
That looks familiar.
That's our front door.
Hard to tell who's who here. I think that's Francis.
That's Bob. I see Rick in him.
Oh, I'll see. There's Grandpa.
Grandpa.
That's Dad's father, Dave Anderson the first. That's his blackjack he's carrying. There he is again. Those are good pictures of him.
Yeah.
Do you
That's
remember-
with Sue. This is
No, that's not Sue.
That's
Don.
Don.
That's Don.
with the hair. Yeah, I thought this was later, but this is all about the same time.
Yeah.
Do you remember the horse's name?
Was that Topsy?
No, it was it Colonel? I think it was
I don't
Colonel.
remember Colonel.
Yeah, but Topsy was a workhorse. But I think there was a riding horse. I think that's it. And then Colonel.
Right there, he looks like Lou. That's John. Oh.
Each one had to do the same
Yeah.
thing. That's the baseball backstop. That's Tom. That's where we played softball all the time.
There's
There's
Dick.
Dick.
Yeah.
That is so
Isn't
cute.
that cute?
That was the underfed one.
Ah.
Another one of Richard P.
The sad guy. Look at how happy. And that's Don next to him. And-
Is that
And
Don?
I think that's Don. And that's Mom.
I've had the policeman's outfit. So.
Yeah, there's Dick crawling. Shades of thing to come. He's going over the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
There's
That's
Mom and
early.
Sue. This is Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only bald baby that Mom had. And then Sue had beautiful curls as she got older.
Now the swimming. That's Tom going off the board. That was right at the curve, right below our sleeping porch.
Don't you love the
That's
bathing
John.
suits?
This is Alice Howard Reynolds on the left. That's Barb Malone, or Barb,
Garwood now.
but it was Barb Manton then.
Right.
And that's Ethel Siegel, the mother of Francis, who we've been trying to think of the last name of. She worked, that was Dad going off the cut off tree.
There he goes. Dad always said ooh ah before he would dive off. Never did learn to swim with his face in the water. Probably just as well in the creek.
Well, he was in shape.
Yep. There he goes.
It was pretty deep there.
Who was taking the pictures?
Mom, probably. It's starting to rain there.
And then, of course, it's always the joke that we said when we jumped in the pool
Yeah,
when it rained.
get in the water so you won't get wet.
Oh, he's getting pretty fancy. There's Dick in
That's-
the inner tube, and Don to his left, and Bob in front, right there. That's Sue with Mom. And Don
Don,
and Dick.
this is where I do a little striptease for you.
I love the bathing suit. I think they were wool. Oh, well, we have a.
That's
That's
Alice
Alice.
again.
Oh, yeah, and is
And
that
that's
Bill?
that's Bill, yeah.
Yeah, Bill Howard, Alice's brother, younger brother. Those are good pictures of Mom.
Yep. Great when She smiled, didn't she?
Yeah. Don kissing Sue. And Bob kissing Sue.
Oh, this
There's
is Chris.
Sue with her
That's Sue.
hair. There's John with glasses. Tom next to him.
Sue, all right. Probably 2 years old, huh?
Probably so. Don. Don with his gun. Oh yes, I remember this, cocking the gun.
This is about 1933.
That's Bob. Dick. I love it.
Don pushed the lever for me, show me how to do it.
Sue with her lamb. I remember that lamb. She had that for a long time.
Tom and Aunt Margie. That's Aunt Margie, Uncle Margie Miley, Uncle John's wife.
Who lived with Dick. Aunt Margie lived with Dick for a long time until she went to a rest home before she died.
That's
There's Tom. Oh, he looks like himself there, I think, very much.
Yeah.
And that's John.
Now watch how fast he shows everything he got. The lead molding set, I remember that one.
Books, books, books.
He'd love to read, didn't he?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, that's Sue's. Santa Claus always trimmed our tree, so the tree was never up. And it wasn't trimmed until,
There's Aunt Kit, that's Mom's younger sister, Catherine.
her only sister.
Catherine Miley Manton, she married Joe Manton.
Dad's sister married a Manton, and Mom's sister married a Manton. Brothers.
Was that Uncle B?
Yep.
May well
Was.
have been. This is
Stop
taken.
it for
Was,
a
well,
second. There's a good
Well,
group
I
shot
think they
around.
come back in a minute. Okay, that's Uncle
That's
Paul.
way in the back. Uncle Paul's in the back.
Paul
To the
Blue.
right.
Right.
That's Uncle Paul was one of Mother's brothers. She had 3 brothers, John, Paul, and Bernard. Actually, John, Bernard, Paul. And that was Paul.
That's B in the middle. Bernard. Uncle B.
Dad is holding Sue, and Uncle John is to the left of Dad. Uncle John was Aunt Margie's husband.
Oh my gosh, he is. Yeah.
And
That's it.
Mom's way to the right. All right, there's Dad with Sue. Can you pause that a
Yeah,
minute? That's Dad with Sue. Mom to the right. And down below, way to the right is Tom, and next to him is Bob, I think.
Yep. Aunt Margie to the right there.
That's Aunt Kit. And all the boys going, all 5 boys getting their stockings down. John in the middle, Tom to the left, Bob to the right, Don to the right of the, Tom to the left now. Look at how dressed up they all are.
I know, for Christmas morning. Yeah.
Well, they probably all went to Mass. We used to go to early Mass, and they were probably just dressed up for that, and then we came back. I would guess that's what you did, didn't you? I think you did by the time I came along.
Yep.
And Sue. The story that Mom told me was that when the house was built, she brought home about 15 samples of carpeting. And she wanted Dad to help her pick out the carpeting. And so she spread out all these carpetings, and he said, well, the first thing we're going to do is eliminate So the first one he eliminated was that carpet. And she said, well, that's the one I picked. So of course, that's the one we had. And we had that carpeting until the first elevator was built that summer. We redid our house and we had new carpeting. It was right down to the floorboards by the time we got rid of it. It was sturdy carpeting. Ugly, but sturdy.
Flowered pattern, real busy.
Yeah, it was,
Probably good for the dirt.
it was very good for kids. Niagara Falls and the Maid of the Mist. And then that's John, Tom, and Bob. It's hard to tell who. I don't think the other people were family members.
Was this a trip you were on, Uncle Dick?
No, just the three oldest, I think.
There's Mom and Sue. Where is that taken? It's water.
Right out in front of the house.
Is that water?
No,
No, that's
the
just
yard.
grass, I guess. Dad and Sue.
Up by the baseball, where we played baseball.
Yep. That's Don.
Growing up now.
And that's Dick. Slugger. Oh, and there's Dick in that wonderful swimming suit. Now the pool has been built. Okay, this is Dick in the pool. Pool was just built.
When was the pool built?
35, I think. 35, so I would have been 5 or 6.
Well, you're 6 years older than I am, and was in 34, so yeah, so it was earlier than that. 33 maybe. You're a pretty good swimmer, Dick.
Yeah, I was just getting started.
That's Sue.
That's Stuart Baxter.
He built the pool.
Built the pool, built the house, built the dam. He's a contractor and close friend. And during World War II, he was the commander of the 37th Division that fought in the South Pacific.
They were at our house a lot, spent lots of Sundays at our house, had Sunday supper with us. We called him Uncle Stu, and we called his wife Auntie Baxter.
Yep.
That's John.
Good jackknife. That's
Tom.
Bob.
Oh, that was Bob, right.
Oh, that looked like
I think
Don, I think. That was Bob there doing the flip. That's Don.
That's Don.
For sure, yeah.
And that's Dick. No, that's Don.
That's Don.
That's Don. He always cocks that one eye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is Tom. Bob.
Bob. That's Sue.
There's Aunt Margie and Sue.
There's Uncle
Uncle
John.
John.
Look at that. And
Now-
he's got a suit on just like
My
Dick's.
mother's oldest brother, John.
With our house in the background.
Wonderful guy.
We loved Uncle John.
Great pictures of him.
Can you talk a little more about him, what he did? Didn't he work at the Cleveland Plain Dealer, or?
Yes, he was
Oh,
the business editor.
Not of the Plain Dealer. He was a business editor at the Cleveland Press, which is when they had the Scripps Howard franchise in Cleveland. And he was a business editor. Oh, he was a business manager. So he ran all, the advertising and all that sort of thing.
And he and Aunt Margie never had children. And they always came to our house for all important occasions. Christmas began for us when they walked in the door. They were just wonderful to us. When Dad was so sick, they really provided Christmas for us.
We'll say.
They were a wonderful support to Mom when he was away and ill. And they were just great people. He was just a marvelous, fun, wonderful man. And when we visit him in Cleveland and walked downtown with him, he knew everybody from the shoe shine boy to the highest muckety muck. Uncle John knew him by name, and everybody loved him. He was wonderful. There's another picture of him. That's Uncle Paul's boat.
We used to go up once a year
Here are all the boys.
for a Sunday and on Lake St. Clair and sail all day. It was great fun.
That's John. And
Tell me again who Uncle Paul is.
Mother's youngest brother. It was John Bernard Paul. Paul was married to Aunt Peg, and we don't have any pictures of Aunt Peg in here, I don't
She's
think.
in here.
Is she?
Yep, she'll be in here in a minute.
That's Uncle B to the left.
I'll have, yeah.
And it's probably Aunt Betty with her
Betty,
head down.
She'll be in here in a minute too.
Is Paul in these pictures too?
Yes.
Okay.
It was
I
his
think
boat.
he and Uncle B kind of shared it.
Paul and Peg had 3 children, Ann, Peggy, and John.
That's Paul helping John, supposedly. That's
Bob. Really tough naked.
That's Tom there.
It's Uncle Paul smoking the
That's Don.
cigarette. Tough navigation. That's Dick.
Yep.
And Uncle B. We all loved Uncle B.
Yeah,
He was lots of fun. They didn't have children either.
Mom and Tom.
Mom was pregnant with me,
That's-
maybe.
That's Aunt Betty right there. That's Aunt Peg.
Oh, yeah.
That
There's
was-
Mom. There I am.
Yep, there's Carol, first shot.
I was underfed too.
Yeah. There's
Mom.
This dance of hers. Boy, when she got in this mood, she was funny. Didn't happen very often either.
Well, sometimes when she was low.
Yeah.
It's Dad on the left, me in the middle, Sue on the right. That's Sue.
Oh, she's growing up now.
Oh,
There's
there's our kite.
Wow, look at the size of it.
That was 20 feet high, that
Jeez.
kite. We flew it with a 3/8" manila rope. And it was incredible. And there we put 2 of them up. One was 13 feet high, that's one of the lower. One was 20, and we'd hook it to the same main line.
Wow.
And one night we had a stiff south breeze and had it hooked to the bumper of the car. And we had both kites up on that one rope, and it ran down some of the line with a baseball bat, a guy on each side, tied a big loop in it, put a cushion in it, and I was the youngest, and then they put a rope on that so that they could let me go way up in the air and bring me back down again.
Wow.
And right when a gust of wind hit that thing when I was about 5 feet off the ground, and it snapped that rope. I came down on my butt. That was the last time we ever did that.
Oh, wow.
The last time I flew that kite, I had it up, I had it way up, but we had maybe 1,800 feet of really fine rope, manila hemp rope, strong as the dickens. And state policeman drove in, and he hailed me, and he said, "Weeb, what is that thing? We've been looking all over. It's on the radar out at the airport. See, this was after the airport was built. You can't put that thing up there. You got to have permission to put something like that up there."
That was the end
That
of the
was
kite.
the last time I ever flew it.
They probably thought it was a UFO.
They didn't know what it was.
We'd make a trolley. We'd put a stop up at the end of it that would, and then put a parachute on it, maybe a 4-foot parachute, and the wind would blow that trolley and that parachute all the way up, and then it'd trip at the end, and down she'd come. The slickest thing you ever saw.
Dad designed
And
it,
the
didn't
trolley
he?
had come, Tom, I'm sure.
Oh, Tom. And
And
Mom
the trolley
made it.
comes zinging
so
back
good.
down the rope, so you could hook up another one. And a good stiff wind, those things would go for miles after they dropped them.
I'm in front and Sue behind me.
And you know where that is, Kate? You're right.
Right.
The court.
A courtyard right
Yeah.
between the two houses, behind.
We did lots of running around that pool. There was a pool there. And Sue was growing up there.
I think these are the last pictures we got of her before she was killed.
Well, maybe in movies. I have a couple more pictures.
Do ya?
Yeah. Yeah, Mom stopped taking pictures when I was 3. When Dad went to Clifton Springs,
Yeah.
all the picture taking stopped. That's me. And Sue going down behind me toward Grandma's house.
Yeah, this is the
This is the,
50th wedding anniversary of Grandpa and
Grandpa
Grandma.
and Grandma
when you say grandpa and grandma, it's,
Anderson, Dad's mother and father, David and Lily. David Anderson and Lily.
Lily Hirsch,
Hirsch
Anderson.
Anderson, right.
right?
And their 50th wedding anniversary.
That's
Uncle Dave and Aunt Jane. Uncle Dave was Dad's older brother and only brother, and Aunt Jane actually was his second wife. He had a son, Dave the Third, by his first wife, and divorced her and married Jane and had Pat and Jim,
Crosby.
our cousin, Pat Anderson
Anderson
Crosby and Jim Anderson. Pat Anderson Crosby was their older child. They had a girl and then a boy. Pat was the older, and Jim was the younger. And Pat, of course, they lived on the farm. Pat was in she was in high school when Sue died, wasn't she? Oh,
yeah, sure.
I just adored Pat. She was so good to us. In fact, when Sue died, she went to the funeral home and fixed her hair for her, which I thought was really something for somebody that age to do. That's Aunt Jane and Uncle Dave. And then Uncle Dave left the farm and went to Florida. And here we go with it's Jim. He's the son of Dave and Jane. And that's Pat Anderson Crosby. She married Warren Crosby, who was in the Army, in the Air Force, I guess, wasn't he, Dick? Was he a pilot?
Yes. Yeah, he was a pilot.
And then Dave the Third, by the first marriage. And Dave the Third was very close to all the boys. He spent lots of time in our house. He felt very close. Mom always was very good to him.
He was one sharp cookie. Ooh, boy, he was one.
Handsome guy too.
Most of his career was in the Army.
Who's to the left, Dick?
Yeah, I gotta advance it. That maybe a Howard picture, but I can't recognize that.
Yeah, but we
picture.
didn't have a Howard that big.
That's
John.
That's John. Yeah.
Yeah, see, they were big buddies.
They were good
John
friends.
and Dave the Third were great friends. Dave was just a little older than John. That's,
Well,
Dick,
That's high.
and then that's Tom.
Now, before you go anymore, Ellen, is that the hill behind?
That's
going down the
that's
creek?
from the court. You're in the court.
The water's high and it's beginning to flood across, straight across.
It
That's
looks
what
low.
that's what that water is.
That brown strip is the water?
Yeah, that's water.
It doesn't
If
look
you're
like
looking-
a steep hill, though.
I
Oh,
think it's
you're
just
looking down to the lowland there. They're right on the brim of the hill there.
Okay.
Walking out of their porch over towards our porch.
Yeah. That's Sue, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Me?
you.
Always very athletic. Marty
Okay,
and
that's Marty and
Barbara.
Skippy.
Yeah. And then Kathleen and Uncle Paul.
Aunt Kathleen was Harold's sister.
Yes.
Kathleen.
Married Paul.
Married Paul
Manton.
Manton, and he's the brother of mother's sister who married Joe Manton. They were brothers. Sort of unusual that on both sides of the family, the girls married Mantons.
Mom's younger sister, Catherine. Catherine Mylink Manton. She married Joe Manton.
Uncle Paul died,
Within a year of
Within-
this.
you know.
One
In
year
fact,
after this, Grandpa and Paul Manton were all gone.
then shortly after that, Sue and Eddie Howard. We lost a lot in
Yeah.
a short amount of time. You know. That's Bill and Eddie Howard. Ed is the middle one, and he's the one who was killed in the war. And his sister Alice is to the left. She's still living. They live in Florida. She's married to Jack Reynolds.
Great.
And
memory.
that's Aunt Mary and Uncle Ed. They're the parents of Alice, Ed, and Bill Howard. And Aunt Mary could play the piano like nobody. She was just more fun. And Uncle Ed was really never the same after Eddie died. He really sort of blamed himself because he had talked him into going into that branch of service that Eddie did not want to go into. And he had a terrible time getting over it. They were great fun, both of them.
And Howard had Howard Motor Sales in Sylvania. They had a wonderful cottage on Devil's Lake where we would go and have the time of our lives every summer with Bill and Ed and Alice. But mostly with Bill because he was my age. Don and I had a ball with him.
That's Aunt Alice, and that's Don
Don
Finkbeiner. The only relative that was not born at this time was Sue. I don't think she was born.
Oh, is that her coming?
No, she's
couldn't
younger.
be.
She's younger
Couldn't
than.
be.
Explain
Unless
how-
that's Sue being carried.
Oh, maybe it is
Yeah,
Sue.
that's Sue being carried.
And then it's Don.
and Don's
Well, that's
coming.
right, because Don's a year younger than I.
Yeah,
Just
Don-
exactly.
There's
a year.
Donnie right there.
And there's Uncle Don. That's Sue. So everybody was there for the 50th.
Now the connection with Cardi is that man there is his uncle and he is our uncle. Our uncle by marriage because of Alice being Dad's sister, and Cardi's uncle because Don was Carlton Finkbeiner Sr.'s brother.
So we aren't blood relatives, but we are through marriage. We're coming
Oh, we're
again.
coming through again.
Yeah. Me, Sue. Well, in actually we're in birth order there, I think, weren't we?
Yeah.
There's Dad.
Mom and Dad. No, they weren't there before, I guess. They're Grandma and Grandpa. We're posing for our picture, which was out by the pool. Dad's off to the left with Sue. I don't know where Mom is. That's Aunt Alice with Sue Stone. That's Don. That's Skippy. That's Dad. Nice picture of Dad.
Go to YouTube.
It's Grandpa. Skippy's hiding. Skippy loved Grandma. That's Barb, Marty. Aren't they beautiful girls? Alice. They were great friends, those three. Well, all those cousins. Pat, too. Pat's in the back with black and a white
That
necklace.
was gorgeous too.
Oh, she was a beautiful
Now,
girl.
right at that picture, as much as you can see from top, that looks like Tom, or top
To
level.
the left is
Bob.
Bob,
Okay.
Tom,
Mhm.
John, Don Finkbeiner, Dave the Third, Pat Anderson Crosby, Aunt Jane Anderson, Dave's wife, and I think the one to the
Paul.
right is Paul Manton. And then the next row is Dick, Mom, Don, and there are no more in that row. And then I'm sitting on Dad's lap, Aunt Alice, Grandpa, Grandma, Uncle Dave, and the bottom row is Sue Stone on her mom's lap, Don in front of Grandpa, Jim Anderson, who is Uncle Dave's and Aunt Jane's youngest. Can you get to the right a
I
little?
think that's Marty, Barb and
Yeah,
Marty.
that's
Barb.
That's Barb.
And Marty to her right. You see Paul and you see Aunt Kathleen.
And
now.
Kathleen is to the right of
To
Uncle
Dave's.
Dave.
And now on the far upper right, who is that?
Uncle Paul Manton,
And to the left of him,
Aunt Jane Anderson, Uncle Dave's wife.
right?
It's Grandma. Dad behind her, and it's me, Grandpa, Tom, Jim, Dave, Mary, Paul, and Kathleen. Barbara.
Hey Carol, you are doing great.
Pat. Isn't she pretty? They're both pretty.
All those girls are,
Oh, they were beautiful.
these we don't know, these are the girls.
Cora. One was, what was
There's Sue,
Mrs.?
there's a good picture of Sue.
Yeah,
Who was in the photograph on the wall?
on the wall.
Yeah,
It's not a family member.
it's not, okay.
No.
Now, is this house, our house that we
That was
live
your
This is your
dining
dining room. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That was looking toward the kitchen. That door went into the kitchen.
and who's the lady right there?
Oh golly, these are Grandma's
Well, it's Grandma.
group. Cora and Minnie were two of them. I remember those two names. Aunt Mary with
And
me.
Mary and Sue, or Carol. John in Florida catching a tarpon.
After Dave left here, he went down and built a fishing lodge in Punta Gorda on the Peace River,
Wow.
and that's where
Oh
they
my
went to
gosh,
fish
look
these
at that.
fish for tarpon.
Jeez.
They caught 3 of those buggers. 2 of them weighed 120 pounds. That's
There's Tom with his.
That's a 120 pounder.
Yeah, that's nice.
And Bob caught one that same size.
Talk a little bit more about
There's Bob's.
Wow.
about the fishing lodge connection.
Well, it was Uncle Dave built it. He left the farm and went down to Florida with Aunt Jane, and he built the fishing lodge.
With his son, Dave the Third. They worked together on that. And the war came and
Dave went off to war.
well, not only that, but you know, the utilization of that type facility just dwindled to the point that they had to close it up. They eventually sold it. It was in a wonderful location. I remember visiting it.
We went down.
Yeah, it was time we made that trip,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah, Dick and Don and Dad and I. Mom was just becoming diabetic and was not feeling well, and Sue by this time had died, and Dad was going to take Don and Dick down to Florida to visit Grandma and to visit the boys who were in basic training, and then to go to the lodge. And I begged and begged and begged to go. I said I'd be good, I would not make any fuss, blah, blah, blah. I could wheedle almost anything out of Dad, so he said okay. And we went down on a Greyhound bus. And we spent 3 days going down.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was quite an adventure because in those days you had a steward on the bus that directed singing and all sorts of things. Well, one of the problems was that my hair had to be fixed, and Mom wasn't going to be there to do it. So Dick had to learn how to braid my hair, and he couldn't go in we'd stop at rest stops, and he couldn't go into the women's restroom, of course, and I couldn't go into the men's, so he would stand out in the middle of a Greyhound bus terminal braiding my hair, and all the women would say, "Oh, isn't that sweet?" And he'd just about die, you can imagine. Mom sent us with 2 directions. She sent us with chocolate chip cookies, and she said, "Harold, do not let these children eat all these chocolate chip cookies. They will get constipated. And do not let the children go out in the noonday sun. They'll get sunburned." We ate all the cookies and got constipated, and we went out in the noonday sun and we got sunburned. Badly sunburned.
Scalded.
Yeah. They had to get a doctor for me.